Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
Good evening to everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope everyone is doing fresh. My name is Sky K. Levese, and welcome to the Impact Show. Today, we are going to talk about finding the right career path in the year 2020 moving forward. We are going to have an incredible time. We are going to talk about a few things which we need to know before we start to finding our careers, and also we're going to identify things that we need to be mindful of when we are looking into this career thing finding, because we live in a generation, or rather we are in a time whereby we need to be sure. Employers are now looking for people who are passionate, people who are driven, and people who are ready to be an impact in the specific field, in the specific practice. So, without wasting no time, let us get into today's show. Finding the right career, you know, it has to do with a lot of things. When you, as an individual, are looking to find a career. It is more of finding yourself before choosing a certain career path which you are saying that you want to follow. And today we are going to start with what we call the prerequisites of finding a career. And I just want to talk about them, and I'm going to dwell too much on them and enforce them because that's where our key point starts. That's where we need to find ourselves before moving into the careers that we are choosing. So, when you are looking for a career or when you are saying that I want to follow a certain practice, you need to ask yourself this question, is that is this what you're doing? Will it make you happy? Most of the time, people are now following things that we call money. People are now following things that will create income, but they are not focusing on things that will create peace, create happiness, and create a peace in your life. Because something that we need to take note and know is that when we start in our career, it is a particular job that we are going to do for the rest of our lives. And people say it's most of the time you will be at your workplace. So you won't be in a workplace that you do not love, but you need to be in a particular place where you are enjoying yourself and are having a great time. So important thing that you need to ask yourself is that in the career path which you want to follow, which you want to embark on, will you be happy in it? That is the very first thing that I always ask myself, is that in whatever I'm about to pursue, it may be promotion level or whatever the case may be, I need to ask myself, is this the career path which I want to follow? Are you willing? Are you willing to do this each and every day? Are you willing to wake up each and every day to go to that same particular job day in and day out and still finding joy in it? Because once the willingness of doing something is not there, it creates problems for you. It creates problems to people who are supposed to be beneficiaries, people who are supposed to benefit from what you're doing. And once you do not enjoy what you are doing as an individual in the particular field which you have chosen, it becomes what? It becomes a problem. And one thing people say that it is hard to find a career, but I always talk about trying out new things. Exploring it is good in the prerequisites of finding your career, because sometimes you need to have trials and error before finding that particular job which you enjoy. So the best thing that you need to do is for you to go out there, put yourself out there, try out new things, so that you are able to find your weaknesses, you are able to identify your strengths, you are able to see, where am I good in, where can I improve? And once you notice certain type of things in your career, or rather in your prerequisites of looking and finding for a career, it becomes better for you, so that you are able to identify your certain skill, to identify your certain field which you will strive and be somebody who works proper in. The second thing, I always emphasize on this: do you feel good? If you do not feel good in what you are doing, what's the point of continuing? What's the point of saying I want to become somebody that you're not? Is it because that you're following the money? Is it because you are faced with a lot of peer pressure for you to pick a certain career? So it is very much important for you as an individual to know which career you want to follow through. I remember back in high school, I used to do a lot of things because I was an individual who did not know what to do. I tried a lot of things, like you name it, like your soccer, like your rugby, like your poetry. I did a lot of things because I wanted to identify what am I good at, what am I not good at. And I tried things which I saw that no, this thing is not my thing. I am good at it, I like it, but it is not something that I am willing to do on a long period of time. So you are able to check, because there are some people, people can give you a direction of saying, just because you talk too much, now you have to become a lawyer. We have all these ideas, all these outer voices suggesting things that we have in our life. But when you follow yourself, when you say, okay, fine, when you search within yourself and search within the career you want to pursue in, you become a person who is what? A person who knows what I want to do this and I will do this. And once you've listened to the inner you that tells you to what to pursue, it becomes much more easier. When I started my journey as a motivational speaker, it came from a poetic level. I was a person who enjoyed writing. From writing, I started writing small things that helped people. And now I'm able to use poetry. I'm able to use my public speaking. I'm able to use certain things which I have learned to be what? To be my engine, to be something that I look forward to. Me talking to you today, it feels so good to me, because now I know that wherever you are grabbing the knowledge. Wherever you are benefiting from what I am here to bring to you. So it's something that brings fulfillment to me. It's something that makes me to know when I end the live stream or when I end recording the video, I feel good. Because why? I am knowing that I'm making an impact to other people. And what I love makes what? It benefits each and everyone. So that's one thing you need to know, that in each and every career that you choose, at the end of the day, your career is to benefit other people. Your career is to make sure that people are taken care of, is to make sure that people are safe, is to make sure that people are healthy. It depends on which career that you are choosing. If you are a builder, you're making sure you are building homes. It is different from each and everything. So it is important to question the power. What do I want to do, and how willing am I to do it? And once you question yourself and you deep in those things, you are able to find out. And as I've written, questions that you need to ask yourself, you need to ask those questions. What do I want from my career? That's something you need to ask yourself. That's some things you need to dive deep and ask yourself, with, at the end of the day, what do I want to achieve? Because if you do not have such things, you may find the right purpose, you may find the right thing you want to do. But if you have no plan, if you don't have no vision, if you have no goals in what you want to do, then it becomes a problem. So in each and every career, or the career you want to choose, or the career you're saying that I want that career path, you need to be specific, you need to be direct. Now, moving along to people who are saying, okay, fine, I am in that career, I am starting my career, then how can I grow? Growing in the career that you have chosen, growing in the career that you have chosen. Some other people, I know I'm talking to people, some I'm like, okay, fine, I'm in this job, I love it, but I do not know how to expand. I'm having problems in working and in uplifting, or in growing rather, in my field. How can I do that? And the one thing that I tell people, the first thing that I'm going to note out, is that you must be positive at all times. Staying positive is the key, because sometimes you might be in the right career and things may take time. But when you are saying to yourself that I will stay positive because this is what I love, and I will do it no matter what. When something that you love, here's the thing about when you do something that you love. When you do something that you love, you give your best out to the world. And once you give your best out to the world, what the world says, it is up to them. What the world gives you feedback, it is up to them. But you sleep better at night, knowing that you have done all that can be done each day. You have stayed positive in your career. You have set your goals. You have set your tactical goals. You have set your strategic goals. And once you become strategic and set your goals, sorry about that, you become a person who is more focused, who is more determined to reach and also able to climb the ladder in the specific career that you have chosen. Look at the talk show. I love to make examples about things that are some things that I see, something that you have seen about my things, or rather my career. When I talk about the Impact Show, was a thing that I said, no, I'm going to do this. But now I need to get information about it. I need to do this. I need to do this. And once I've grab the information. Once I have my resources, I studied it. But I wouldn't have studied it if I did not have a tabular goal, if I didn't have a strategic point of view, if I didn't have, that thinking process, from here we're moving from here. As an organization, from here, then we're moving here. From here, we're moving here. And it's important when you are in your career, you improve yourself. And one thing that I always talk about when you are wanting to grow in your career is that you must master the power of handling your money. We're having a situation whereby we have people who do beautiful practices, who are beautiful people. They are lawyers, they are doctors, but they are not familiarizing themselves with how they should handle their money. That is the one thing I can say to you in your career now. If you want to be the wealthiest person, if you want to become the wealthiest person in your field, in whatever that you're doing, be financially smart. When you become financially smart, you become a person who handles your finance smartly, because you find out that you have people who have beautiful passions, but they end up in depression, they end up upside down because of the career choices which had to do with money involved. The career was okay that you've chosen, it's what you love, but now you couldn't handle your finances in that career. And once you handle your finances, once you know that from here we're moving from here we're moving from here, it becomes much more easier. So it is very much important to understand finance, to understand how your money works, to understand. Don't find yourself being a person who's paying a credit card, taking another credit card to pay another credit card, take a loan to pay both credit cards, then you're left with another loan. Do not be like that. Once you grow in your career, you need to now be able to be financially smart. Once you're financially smart, you will also enjoy what you do freely, and you won't be forced to do things that you do not like, or things that are not for you and not made for you. So you need to be a particular person who understands how finance work. And once you understand how money works, once you understand things like investments, things like how to make your money grow, things like fixed assets, things that you understand, it becomes much more easier to be in a career that you love and you are going to enjoy it. I've said a lot. Now, the last thing that I want us to talk about in growing in your career is understanding the power of networking. I didn't understand it at first, but I understood that once you create, you become in with people who are with you, people who are in the same field, and you discuss powerful ideas. You get even things like, whoa, I wasn't thinking of this. So once you build and once you network, you have people around you in your career, you are going to be somebody who grows faster in your career, because you have one, people who are starting with you in the career, two, people who are already ahead of you who can give you advice. People can give you advice. No, when you're doing this, don't do this. When you're doing that, don't. It becomes much more better. By the way, if you don't know, I'm a boiler maker. I do things. I love welding. I love doing that. But people don't understand that, most of the things that I did practically, I didn't learn it from a book, but I learned it from people who are boilermakers, people who were there, people who understood what to do and how to do it. And I used to call them, hey, I'm having a problem here. This thing doesn't want to connect. How must I do? No, you're making a wrong mistake. Do this and that, and you should be good to go. And that is the power of networking. You do not know it all. Just have a powerful, a circle of networking. Even what you want to do, if you want to grow if you're an entrepreneur and you want to grow, let me tell you, never trust too much on your friends and families. But once you trust the power of networking, doors will open for you, because you are attracting people who are attracted to what you are attracted to. So once you do that, it becomes spontaneous, it becomes beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now, moving along to the third thing that we need to know is mistakes you should avoid in your career. There are certain mistakes that we do when we follow each and every career. There are certain mistakes that we do, and we do them, on purpose or not on purpose. I do not know, but there are certain mistakes that we do. And the first thing is that We all do not want to climb the ladder because we fear failure. Yeah, we fear failure. Everyone fears failure because of this, because of that. I cannot do this. Once you get rid of the barrier called failure, once you get rid of that, it becomes much more easier because you are able to strive for your goals. You are able to push as an individual because now you have no things that, oh, I failed, and then what? But you become a smarter person. You learn from your mistakes. And moving along, you learn from your criticism. That's my third point. You learn from being criticized. Criticism is always the best teacher at some point in your life. So accept criticism. Criticism is good for you, it will make you improve. People who are always criticizing, it is good for you. And I promise you, once you do that, you are going to grow in that particular field. And the last one in this one is that don't think that you know it all. That's the mistake that we do in our career. We think that we know it all. And once you think that you know it all, you are going to crash. Because even those who are willing to help you won't help you because you have this mentality of, I know it all. And it does not work like that. There are certain people who are ahead of you. There are certain people who are more experienced as you. There are certain people who are more knowledgeable as you. More than you rather. There are people who have passed through the road that you are passing, and they can guide you and they can show you. So don't think that you know it, because once you think that you know it all, I promise you, you are going to crash and you are going to fall once you think that you know it all. It is beautiful. If you don't understand something, inquire, research, learn from your mistakes, learn from your failures, learn from criticism, grow, be bigger, be better in your particular field. Make your own mistakes, have your own setbacks. Do this, do that. But at the end of your day, it is for your upbringing, it's for your improvement in that particular and certain field that you are following. The last one, careers that will be on demand in the next 10 years. Careers that will be there. When we talk about careers that will be there in the next 10 years, I am not saying if now you are a lawyer, you need to move, or if now you are this, you need to move. I'm just making an example. I'm not saying that the jobs of becoming a lawyer will end. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just making an example that I'm not saying move, but I'm saying to those who are saying that no, there's no careers that you can look into, there are no careers that you can find. There are careers which are now developing because of AI. There are things that are happening around us, around the world, and we need to take note of that because they are on the horizon. And all this research and all these things have been taking them from Forbes, which shows us, that careers will be on demand in the next 20 years. Some are there, some will improve. There's a lot of things. And I'm having a list here, and I'm just going to read out a few that you need to know. But if you want me to have or to dive deep into this different careers, please shout it out in the comments and I will do so. So the first thing that we need, the first career that will be on demand rather, is in the medical field. You know, IT, IT in the medical field will be needed. Because why do I say so? Now we are having machines, we are finding that there's a specific doctor in the UK is operating a patient here in South Africa. So now there will be a huge demand in medical IT. And once you focus, or rather, if you're interested in that, have a look in that, and it is going to be a beautiful one. Now, moving on to the second one is that content creators. It can be your video editors, it can be your photographers, it can be your photo editors, it can be, anyone who's a content creator. You are just in luck. Artificial intelligence, it cannot do that as yet. It cannot edit, it cannot, a huge amount of things. But here's the thing: as a content creator, because since things are moving from the traditional things, we're moving from traditional learning, we're moving from virtual, so things like your video editing are important for people who are learning online. And so there's a lot that you need to look. look into. So I always tell people that look at YouTube. 10 years ago, it was not that popular. People will even not think that you could make money over YouTube. But now people are getting into the platform. They are used to it. They are seeing that okay, fine, I can make a living. I can help people. I always say that I learned a lot from people who are doing YouTube. People who are YouTubers who are doing YouTubers full time. When I want to do something, for example, I want to climb on top of the roof and do something, then install something. I always look at how to do this, and they show you tips. Okay, you can do this. Be aware of this, and it saves me a lot of much of time of reading books and reading this. I can just get it with just a click. How to, and it gives me. So now you find out, even this traditional of schooling, which we're going to talk about in the next career paths rather, that will be there in the next 10 years to come. So that's something you need to look at. As a content creator, just improve yourself, learn new software editing apps, and man, you might find yourself in employment. Anything is possible. They are on demand. Everyone is moving on demand. Companies are looking for people who are editing, people who can create, people who are creators, and people who can promote their works. So once you look in those fields and once you check what you find interesting, I believe you are guaranteed a huge amount of job because the percentages are reaching every day. Percentages are rising, and as I looked as a research, it says that YouTube is the second best search engine. So you can imagine that how many people are going there. So content creators, your jobs are safe. Now moving to the salespersons, the salespeople, there's still jobs for you. There are jobs that will be on demand. Yes, I know people are going to say because there are softwares that does that, but we still need a touch of a human being. We still need touch of humanity in the sales departments because salespersons, people are doing sales are very good at it. Moving at the food industry. The food industry will change humongously. It will change. Why do I say it will change? As you notice, things are becoming much more faster, things are becoming more better. We have machines that cook, machines that bring coffee. So things are improving. So now to people who are nutritionists, people who deal with food, people who are chefs, people will be needing you even more because now the people want to live healthier, people want to live longer. So once you do that, people who are in the food industry are going to be needed and most, which is followed by the educational system. The educational system is changing. It is changing dramatically because now we used to have this traditional learning whereby you go to a board, the modules are fixed, but now things are changing. You can have your own curriculum. You can choose your own curriculum. There's virtual learning now. So a lot of things are happening. As you can see during this pandemic, for example, a lot of things has changed because of this pandemic. That's why we are having now e-learning, now internet learning. We are having a lot of people who are doing this, and it is humongous. Companies like Zoom, companies like StreamYard are really benefiting from this. So we are seeing that the world is now moving from this traditional learning to this online learning, and it becomes a beautiful thing. And we are able to connect with people. And moving along to the development, the developers, they want you a developer, a software developer, an app developer, coding, and exactly, coding is going to increase. It is increasing each and every year, and it's on high demand. If you're a person who say you love coding, you like creating apps, my guy, my lady, that's something you need to look at. It is growing dramatically because when I look at advertisements on Facebook, it is growing, and people are looking for people who can create apps, people who can code, people who can do such things because they are on a humongous demand and they're increasing each and every year. I forgot the percentage of it, but they are increasing each and every year. Now, moving along to VR. We know that VR, virtual reality, that's one of the things also that will be growing. What is virtual reality? Virtual reality, you can hear from the word virtual reality. And why do I say this thing will keep on increasing? It is going to help a lot of people like NASA to save costs. Before they put extra noise or whatever the case may be into the ship. They can run to a simulation whereby they run the controls and everything. So virtual reality is still going to increase. We call it virtual design. So it is going. That's one of the careers that will shoot up soon. It's very shooting up, and the percentages are increasing each and every year, and they're becoming on high demand. And looking on the other one, which we call trash engineers. I was shocked when I looked at this, because in the world we have a lot of trash. So trash engineers are people who work with trash, things that we throw in the bin, things we throw in the bin. So that will be certain people that will be doing that, that will find ways of how can we recycle, how can we use certain items better. So that's something you need to look at. If you're saying no, if you know a person who might be interested in the trash industry, you can inbox that person like, hey, I have this one. And the last thing that I have found the jobs that will be on high demand is, drum roll please, organ creators. Organ creators, or they call them body creators, whereby they create organs, where you know, it's part of medical field, you may say, but I just love it when I excluded a bit because now it's very much different, whereby they create organs like your, I don't know, your tissues. I'm not in that medical field, but if you are interested in that, that's something that you can look to as an individual. So, in each and everything that we have covered today, we have talked basically about everything that we need to do. We have talked about the prerequisites that we need to do when looking for a career. We're talking about how to improve yourself once you're in that career that you find. We have talked about certain mistakes you need to avoid when you are in that particular career. And we have touched on jobs that will be on high demand in the next 10 months, the next 6 months, the next 10 years. That will be, and which are increasing on demand. Thank you very much for everyone who has joined. Thank you very much for everyone who have viewed. And if you have any questions, I will be still answering your questions. We are here to change life one motivation at a time. I'm here to help you to become a better individual. I'm here to show you ways that we may be people who find ourselves, find our purposes so that we may find true peace, joy, and happiness in ourselves. I hope everyone is doing well, and may we have a beautiful night. Let's keep changing life one motivation.
Changing life one motivation at a time. Stay.